Hello, and great to have your company here on the Form, and what a weekend of racing in front of us too. It is Cox Plate weekend. Really looking forward to that out of Moonee Valley, and you'll catch that action live on Trackside. Home front, we've got the Group 3 Soliloquy Stakes out of Matamata. A good card coming through there, and 11 races from Riccarton as well, featuring the Group 3 Watercress Stakes that can lead up into Geddes Week as well. Don't forget about Sydney as well. We've got on trivia going around the $2 million invitation as well. Let's see what's coming up on your show today. We kick off on the Form with Jamie Richards talking around a massive weekend for Te Akau Racing, headed by Probabeel in the Cox Plate, among other really big assignments for his runners this weekend. Todd Pollard, these days the assistant trainer to Annabelle Neesham, who has two runners in the Cox Plate, joins us to talk about Moanga and Zaki, part owner of Very Elegant. Nick Bashara joins us. What a ride that man has taken him on. Natalie Young, we'll hear about the Derby prospects that Forgot You, among other runners of her and Trent Busserton's team. Brendan Popwell will join us to talk Matamata, and Matthew Cross will talk Riccarton with us, and then we'll link up with Kosi Asano to hear about his rides for the weekend. Chance for us to get to Matamata, and we've grabbed Jamie Richards. Jamie, thanks for joining us here on the Form. First of all, massive weekend all over the shop, but the big race is the Cox Plate, and you've got Probabeel there. Can you compare her to going into this one last year for us?
Yeah, I think that Aiden, obviously she's a year older, but my gut feeling is that she's had a better preparation this year. She's been in Melbourne all the way through, hasn't had to come down from Sydney. Now, she had a great time of it last year, winning the Epsom, but I just my gut tells me that having that hard run at Caulfield 2,000 metres 2 weeks ago, I think is going to stand her in really good stead for this race. And I've sort of said all the way through she's going to have to run a career best performance to be competitive on Saturday. But Ashley's been really happy with her, done a great job with it, and we think she's somewhere close to where she needs to be.
Yeah, how's she come through that Modern Power?
Yeah, she's really eaten fantastic. They all have over there. As I say, Ashley's done a wonderful job with her and Carmelas. So yeah, she's had no hiccups, no hold ups. Touch wood, everything goes right for the next 24 hours, and yeah, we've just been able to sort of go about our normal preparation, do our normal work. I resisted the temptation to go to Moonee Valley on Tuesday. I didn't think that she needed it. She just did some nice work at Flemington on the course proper there, and yeah, she's as fit and as ready as she's ever going to be. There's not much more we can do for her now.
Yes, Jamie, you've had an amazing sort of past 5 years, winning 47 Group 1s, all the big races, but a Cox Plate would just take you into another level. How does it feel, going into something with a horse who really does look a winning chance?
Yeah, very I guess it's a big team effort, as we always say. A lot of effort goes into the planning and time, and Ashley being over there, and Dad being in Sydney, and having people in the South Island, and all of those sorts of things. But it sort of first starts when Dave's putting his hand up buying these horses that drive the success of the stable. So we're absolutely thrilled to be able to have a third runner in the last 3 years in the race. We haven't been able to win it yet, but hopefully, if the weather gods play their part there and we're running on a good track, we're going to be in with a chance tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Just tell us, how confident are you? How confident that she can be a winning player in this race?
Well, my honest opinion, Aiden, is that she's more of a place chance than a winning chance. I've got a lot of respect for Zaki. I've got a lot of respect for Animo. I think he's going to be awfully hard to beat down in the weights. Very competitive field. I know it's not a full field, but it's a really good competitive field. And without, you mentioned Zaki and then you mentioned Animo, and you haven't even spoken about Very Elegant yet, who's going to be, the reigning horse of the year and 9-time Group 1 winner. So incredibly difficult task for her to win that race tomorrow, but we think that she's ready to run really well and hopefully do us all proud.
Absolutely. Those surprise victories are always the sweeter, aren't they? What does she do safely through this one?
More than likely come home and have a break. I would sort of be thinking that this will be her last season of racing, and we'd like to set her up for a really big swan song in the autumn.
Okay, yeah. Could that be Queen Elizabeth type things in Sydney? Is that what you're thinking? Or?
Absolutely. I think that's a nice race for her. But The only thing with Sydney in the autumn is it's more often than not wet, which she hates. So we'll just be taking it one run at a time, whether we follow a similar sort of program as we did last year, Futurity, All-Star Mile up there into the Fillies and Mares race, or whatever it may be. But yeah, she's. I think she's earned a break after Saturday. All things being equal and going well.
It couldn't be further afield in Australia.
Don't think so. There's just so much prize money available here, and the racing is so great. So, yeah, I think we'll stick to what we know, unless I'm told otherwise by Brendan and Joe and Henry.
Okay, good as gold. Let's get to Sydney. Entre Vier, obviously she's just prepared superbly for this invitation, and big money on the table. Can she scoop it up?
We hope so. Again, much like Probabile, she's had a really good preparation for it. One first up was massive in getting beaten in the Golden Pendant, running some of the best sectionals of the day there at Rosehill. So yeah, she's got a few things in her favour. She had a month between runs, which she seems to enjoy. Dad's been really happy with her. Little, few showers there. The only thing that we just didn't have a lot of luck with, which is quite common for us, is the barrier draw. But hopefully we can have a bit of luck in running and overcome that.
Okay, yeah. Has everything gone to plan with the preparation?
For sure, yep. Trial was good behind Classic Legend. Work's been solid. She's a good track worker. She goes quite keen. She always works on her own. So she puts 120% into everything. Obviously, we would have loved to have James on her, who knows her, but really looking forward to having Tommy on her. He's professional, world-class rider, and he's going to do a great job for us.
Yeah, what do you do to combat that barrier draw?
Basically, we'll just remain a little bit open-minded. Most of our riding instructions consist around on being positive for 100 yards and giving yourselves some options. I think that'll be what we do again. And if we need to sneak forward and pop in, or if we need to go back and get cover, she is versatile. So we'll just see how the pattern is, see how the race plays out, and basically leave it up to Tommy, and he can make the call. He's out there, and it's very hard for us to give the instructions from the grandstand.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and what does she do after this one?
We'll just remain a bit open-minded. This is pretty much grand final day for her. But if she was to come through it really well, and we thought that she could handle another race, well, maybe we might look at something. But she has got a tentative booking to come home to spell. So we'll just remain open-minded, get through Saturday, and then we can work it all out.
Okay, yeah, you've also got those others in Australia at the moment, Emeralina, Carmelas sort of state. Can you just give us an update on that trio?
So those three are all in Melbourne now. Emeralina made her way down from Sydney. She's going to run in the Empire Rose next Saturday, as is Carmelas. So Emeralina, she just hasn't had any luck those first couple of runs. I think she's going better than that, and a good vote of confidence for us during the week was that James is going to stick with her in the Empire Rose. So happy with her. She seems to have settled in well. Carmelas had a little quiet trial at Maui on Wednesday. Everything's gone according to plan with her after missing that run on Saturday because of the heavy track at Caulfield. So she'll go there. Preville will ride her. She seems to be in great form. And Sort of State, been a little bit disappointed with his preparation so far. We did put him on a truck to Melbourne and sent him down to have a jump out this morning down the straight, which he did, and he trialled really well. So we were pleased with that, and he needed to trial well to remain in contention for the Cornwall. We've been behind the 8 ball all the way through with his fitness, but we might be getting a little bit closer there now. So provided that everything goes well, I think there's a chance he could line up, but we just need to have a bit of a chat to the owners and Brendan and Henry and Dave and work it all out. But I was pleased with the way that he trialled there this morning down the straight.
Okay, yeah, back home in New Zealand, obviously it's a key weekend for the 3-year-olds getting ready for 1,000 and 2,000 guineas. At home is the Group 3 Soliloquy Stakes, and you've got a team in there, Imperatriz, Mille Fiore, and the Perfect Pink. At this point, how are they?
Yeah, they're all good. We could well run Bellon Rouge as well if we can get a suitable rider. Just a little bit of a tricky time with COVID restrictions and people stuck in different levels and suspensions and all of those sorts of things. But Imperatriz is probably our top seed there. She ran well at Hastings, but probably a little bit of trainer error there. Went back to the well too soon. Giving her a little bit of time between runs. Really happy with where she's at. 1400 is going to be a good test for her as we look towards the Guineas. So she needs to run well to push on towards Riccarton. She's got the awkward barrier draw. She's going to need a little bit of luck from out there. I think we'll just ride her a touch conservative rather than rushing forward and dying on her run. I'd love to see her sort of hitting the line, looking like she's going to go a mile. But yeah, looking forward to her. Miller Fiore is going better than her form suggests. Looking forward to seeing her out to 1400. And Joe will do a good job on her. The Perfect Pink's a nice filly. Won well on the synthetic. I think she's got a big future. Whether it's now or whether maybe it's in the new year, we'll just sort of see how tomorrow plays out. And Ballon Rouge was good at Taupo. She's got the soft draw. We just need to get a rider.
Okay, very cool. So all going well, they all go straight into the Guineas if they run up to your expectations?
Yeah, so Imperatriz, Miller Fiore, Ballon Rouge, they're in contention for that. I think that what we will do with the Perfect Pink after speaking to Tony Ryder and the Dennis boys is that she'll probably stay north and get ready for Ellerslie at Christmas time. She is a bit of a lighter framed filly at the moment. Might just appreciate a couple of weeks out in the paddock rather than the flight to the South Island. But yeah, we'll just get through the weekend and then we can work it out.
Okay, and the open sprint that you've got, Mai Tai, stakes winner last preparation, seems to be building okay.
Yeah, her run at Hastings was better than it looked. Just got back from a bad draw, and every time she sort of came out to try and get going, the horse in front of her came out with her as well. So never really got clear air, but happy with her. We were going to go to the Red Badge sprint, but the Hawkins boys there made the decision to wait, which I think was the right decision. We found a nice race. I think she's going to be really competitive.
Okay, yeah, a decent team at home as well. Who's the pick of the other runners at Matamata Chan?
Like Vamos Bibi in the 74-12. She never really got the race at Hastings on the first day, back and wide off a bad barrier, and has a bit of a tendency to hang in going left-handed. Been trying to find a right-handed race for her, hence why she was heading to Ellerslie for this meeting, which has subsequently been moved to Matamata, but she's got a nice draw. Hopefully she can end up somewhere on the rail and get her chance, but she's a very progressive mare.
Okay, yeah, Riccarton said that as well. Group 3 Watercree Stakes Day, and obviously a pretty important prep run for Novia, who was reeling off all the best sectionals in that Guineas trials last time out. How's he come through that run?
He's come through it in good shape. Happy with him. 3 weeks into it from his last run. Took her to Ashburton on Tuesday and gave him a little spin around the grass down there just to get him away from home and keep him up to the mark. So he's going to be back a little bit. He's not the best in the barriers. Because he'll be up on the speed, he'll be hard to run down, but he's a really nice horse, and we think a mile will suit him, and it's going to top him off nicely for a fortnight.
Okay, what are you wanting to see from him at Riccarton this weekend with a view to the Guineas?
Well, we just want to see him be competitive and find the line and probably be, winning, if not winning, unlucky and running top 3. But it's going to be a good test for him. I was really impressed with the way that he found the line the other day. That sort of showed that we're on track, and hopefully we can see a similar sort of performance.
Okay, also down there, a couple of key races. Get the Copeland's trial. You've got Marcus Aurelius and Secret Amorum, and both seem to be going really well, Jamie.
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius is going really well. He's just well up in the weights, so we've just got to be a little bit careful of that. But third up, he's ready to run well, and then he'll go to the Copelands. And I think Secret Amour is taking a lot of confidence from that win at Timaru. She's well weighted there. She's got the soft draw, and I think that she can handle the step up to open grade. So she's going to be an interesting runner down there for us.
Okay, leaderboard goes around in the Spring Classic. Had you given consideration to the 3,000 metre racer on the program as well?
Just sort of felt like if he's going 3,000 this far out from the New Zealand Cup, he just hasn't really had the preparation for it. Hasn't been able to get the miles into his legs. We had a little bit of trouble with him before his last run and had a bit of an off blood, and he ran accordingly. But we think we've got him going better now. It's just whether these European horses can handle these firm tracks, whether he might need to get his toe into it a little bit more. But he needs to run again, and then he'll go to Ashburton and run over ground, and then he'll run in the Cup. So keep an eye out for him, but he might just be outpaced a little bit or outclassed a bit over the 2,000 metres there with some of those other horses in there. Okay,
yeah. Also, it's an interesting day around the other races there. You still got a couple in 1,000 Guineas contention. How are those fillies early in the day, King of Reds and also Shepherd's Delight looking?
Yeah, Shepherd's Light and Irish Red are coming up well. They've been, I think, a touch unlucky in not being able to win a maiden yet. But if they get a bit of luck there on Saturday, I think they've got to be really good chances. Cozzy's on. He seems to be riding in great form. And if those two fillies win, there's no reason why they wouldn't sort of look out of place in 1,000 guineas. They'd have to win impressively, but they do seem to be coming along well, and the team down there have been doing a really good job. Sam Burgess and Lydia and everybody down there. So big day for them down there. Hopefully they can get a couple winners.
Okay, who's the pick of the Riccarton team?
The pick of the Riccarton team is, well, you said that Cozzy went Irish Red, so I'll go Irish Red as well.
Good, yeah. Okay, to Te Rapa on Monday, and again, another crucial lead up. You've got Palamos in the Group 2 James and Annie Sarton Memorial. How's the source?
Yeah, he's coming along well, Aidan. Just been a little bit disappointing the way things have gone with him. He's had an interrupted prep, got held up with the temperature, went to Te Rapa, was not fit enough, and then, the middle stages of the race at Hastings last week was slowed really badly, quite dangerously, I thought. And he's 3 deep without any cover from the half mile, peaked on his run again. So I think he's going better than his form suggests, but this is a sort of bit of an acid test for him, whether he is a 2,000 guineas horse or whether he might be, need to be freshened and be a sprinter. But we'll know a bit more after Monday. Okay,
if we had to put the acid on you and say who's your top seed for both those guineas races at the moment, who would you
go? Well, I don't think there's a lot between Novera and I Wish I Win. I Wish I Win got flushed up the course again at Ashburton the other day. But he's going quite well. And the fillies, we've got Synchronised there that we haven't spoken about. She missed Ashburton last week, just got held up a little bit. So she's going to go to a 74.14 at Ashburton on the 31st, and then hopefully go to the Guineas. I think she's well above average. And Imperatriz, well, it's just whether she's going to sort of stay out to a mile. That's the question mark. But there's a lot of moving parts there. There's a lot of really nice horses from other stables going the right way. So we'll just concentrate on our ones and try and get the job done, and then we'll work it all out in the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. For the form, we have a little best bets category at the end. What are we putting next to your name?
Best bet for me this weekend, I think Vamos BB at Matamata. Small field, good draw. Hopefully she can make advantage of that.
Okay, best of luck. Hopefully next time we're talking to you, we're talking to a Cox Plate winning trainer.
Thank you, Aidan.
And from one great mare to another, Probabile to Sunline, let's go back and recap on one of the greats of the Cox Plate.
Right on the outside rail, here comes Sky Heights after the leader, and then Tie the Knot starting a run, but Sunline's raced away, and the New Zealand champion mare set up 4 lengths now from Reduce Choice, who can't find much at the moment. Sky Heights is running on, and so is Tie the Knot from Tessa Rossa. Sunline with a mighty lead though, she's 4 in front. Tie the Knot gets to second from Sky Heights, and then Tessa Rossa. Sunline clear, Tie the Knot starting to make late ground, is rallying, but Sunline will hold on and win all the way. Sunline beat Tie the Knot by 2, Sky Heights third, Tessa Rossa fourth, and then Reduce Choice. A gap to the Message and Intergaze, followed by Make No Mistake, In a Flurry, back to the tail end Lahar, and the Erratic Commands last in.
Congratulations, Steve.
Thanks, Darren. Cheers, mate.
It was a great thrill, eh?
Yeah, it is. Sure is. She really let go when he asked her, and that was the way we'd planned it, and it all worked out to plan.
I hit the line in the Cox Plate 1999, and it was my first major race in the world that I've ever ridden in, because there are 4 races in Australia that you like to win: the Melbourne Cup, the Caulfield Cup, the Golden Slipper, or the Cox Plate. And I finally won one of those major Group 1 races.
Well, what a performance by the great New Zealand mare, brilliantly rated by Greg Childs. Now had 18 starts for 13 wins, and who said a mare couldn't win the Cox Plate?
In the lead up to the 2000 race, the hype was quite extreme really, because she'd won well the year before. She was probably in better form leading into the 2000 Cox Plate, but some of the opposition, especially the opposition jockeys, decided that, especially once she drew the outside of the field, that they were really going to take the race to her, and they said, if you want to win this Cox Plate, you're going to have to really earn it. We'll be taking you on hard and fast all the way.
During some of the media conferences during the week, there was a lot of talk and chatter, especially from other jockeys and trainers, that Sunline might have got it pretty easy last year, but we sure weren't going to let that happen again. We're going to put the pressure on Sunline, and she'll crack. And I just took that on board, knowing what the tactics might be of some jockeys.
I think our confidence level before that race was pretty high in the fact that our horse, I think, was more mature than the year before. She was a 5-year-old. Her form right through the spring was better, and we knew she could handle the valley at the top high pressure level that the Cox Plate is.
Ready to jump in the Cox Plate and away.
And as the gates opened, we jumped. Scoozy Please did go quite fast early and then settled down. So as we're going past the 1,000 metre mark, I started to let her stride forward. She was in her controlling fashion, dominating the race, controlling the race.
At the 800 metres and the message joined by Sunline to Scoozy Please, two to Sky Heights, 3 deep all of the way over on the outside at the 800 metres turn where Sunline had drawn about a half length in front now.
But as we went past the half mile, I put the pressure on them. They cracked. We went past the 600 metre mark. She started to stretch out even further. And she just kept feeling better and stronger.
And Oliver Twist, but by the 600 metres, and Sunline raced about 3 lengths in front here. From Scoozy Please going to second, Testa Rossa to third.
Going past the 400, we were out by probably 3 or 4 lengths or 5 lengths.
She's going to take some beating, this great mare. Next is Diatribe, nothing's making ground on her. She's away, Sunline, she leads by 4 lengths. The champion New Zealand mare has raced away in the Cox Plate.
Turning for home, we were 6 or 7 lengths clear. She kicked, she lifted, responded well to my urgings.
But the champion mare is going to kill them. She's 5 in front, Sunline, and a piece of racing history. Back-to-back Cox Plates for the champion mare, Sunline. She's won it by 6 lengths easily. Photo the Miners, Diatribe or Referral, nothing between them.
She hit the line, she was 7 lengths clear of the rest of the pack, and we dominated that race. Again, elated, joyful, she'd done it again.
It's the most comprehensive win in the Cox Plate, probably since Delta-Phi towed them back in '79.
And that's correct, Greg Miles. And there she is. Have a look at her. The greatest stake-winning horse in Australian history. Her prize money is now $6,334,266. And she's gone way past Octagonal as the greatest stake-winning horse in Australian history. How can you knock her? Look at her here. The race is all over.
It's hard to realise, just how good these horses have to be to put a margin on them like that.
Steve, this is history. It's the greatest stakes-winning horse in Australian history, and she really is one of the greats now, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she's put a seal on it today. There was excuses for horses last year, but none today.
Sunline has a sporting companion with me. She not only lifted my profile, she lifted my bank balance. She took me around the world. We raced in 4 different countries. She won in 3 of them. She was special.
Chance for us to head to Melbourne, and we've grabbed Todd Pollard, who's these days, of course, we've known him from racing manager days at Stephen Marsh, to these days being Annabelle Neesham's assistant trainer. And Todd, just first of all, before we get into this weekend runners, how's the new role going?
Yeah, it's been good fun, that's for sure. I guess you don't expect it to probably progress like it has so far and end up in Melbourne with 2 good chances for the Cox Plate. But it's been a good team to join in with, and the team's firing. We've got some great firepower with the Bloodstock. We've got in the barn, and it's been pretty enjoyable so far.
Just tell us about this weekend, though, because it's Cox Plate Day, and for the stable to have 2 runners in, how exciting!
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great to be here on the eve of the Cox Plate now. It's probably starting to kick in what it all means. It's just been good to get through the week, really. You take them to the gallops, and the horses are going both really well. So, I mean, it's up to them now. We'll just get through this evening, and not too many sleepless nights. When you get up early, it's pretty easy to rest your eyes when you get to bed in the evenings. But, it's going to be hugely exciting tomorrow. A bit different in the case of having no crowd there, but look, it's going to be good fun, especially if we can get a good result.
Okay, I think that's Mo'unga just coming into the picture beside you. But first of all, let's talk Zaaki. You tasted what was a bit of a surprise defeat last time out. First of all, had you assessed it, and how's he come through?
Yeah, I mean, he's bounced out of it well. Of course, it was disappointing at the time. Look, the horse might have just been found out by the firm nature of the Caulfield track. So with the Strathclyde track at Moonee Valley, it should suit a lot more. The horse seems 100%. He's really come on in the coat. His work's been perfect since. And hopefully he can turn the tables on probably on the rest of the field.
Yeah, are you confident with him going in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's right where we want him to be heading into the run. So, look, I mean, you need a lot of luck as well in the running. It'll be interesting how it all pans out, who leads in the field and where he sits. But having James McDonald back on, it is a good result for the team.
Okay, and just tell us a little bit about Mo'unga. We're only seeing a bit of his backside at the moment, but obviously he's got the quality about him too, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I think the horse is going really well at the moment. He looks amazing. It'd be good if he did come into camera shot because, but the horse is going so well for what he is. He's ready to run a career best. I think his preparation so far. He's run really well every start, and yeah, fingers crossed we can see it come Saturday.
I'm picking you in there with him because he's a bit of a favourite of yours. Is that right?
Absolutely. You got to look after the Kiwis, of course. He's a bit of a dude, and obviously named after a pretty great All Black too. So he's always been a bit of a favourite in the stable, and being our first Group 1 winner. He is a special horse.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you think that the race pans out, especially for your pair?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Corsair Mav leads them up. A horse like Delisand's probably going to go forward, but could easily see Zaki sitting outside of the leader, whereas Mo'unga, he's going to be more midfield from barrier 4. Just hopefully he can stay off the fence and get into clear air. But I think both draws are perfect for the horses, and shouldn't be any excuses come Saturday.
Okay. Just tell us, where do they finish? Give us a finishing order prediction for your two.
Oh, geez, hopefully heads up, heads down at the finish. And, it'd be nice if it's a photo finish between the two. But, yeah, like I say, Mo'unga, he's going super at the moment. He's going to run a big race. And you have the expectations with Zaki, of course, that he's going to hopefully win being the favourite. But it doesn't always pan out. And I think Mo'unga is a pretty good second stringer to have in the field.
Safely through this one, Todd, where did the pair go?
Look, I guess we'll see what happens. Zaki probably win or lose. He's might be looking to have a break. He doesn't need to prove anything else after that. Whereas Mo'unga, he's a stallion. I think McKinnon, if he does happen to go there, is a perfect race for the horse. 2,000 metres around Flemington in a fortnight's time would be ideal. And we sort of really want to build on his Group 1 CV. So, I mean, it's all up in the air. We'll see how the results go on Saturday and go from there.
Okay, yeah. Also, upcoming, I think it's a fairly quiet weekend for you, but the Golden Eagle in Sydney's a race we just want to touch on. How's the team looking for that one?
Yeah, we've managed to get 2 horses from Europe come over. They're in quarantine at the moment, working at the Canterbury facility, Rev de Vol and Laws of Indices. They're both really smart horses. Laws of Indices won a Group 1 in France over 1,400 metres, so sounds like he's going really well, and Rev de Vol's a good chance as well. He's about the $15 mark, but they're 2 quality horses, both group class horses, and hopefully they can be like Zaki and improve even more when they come over. And it's pretty exciting, $7.5 million race, and it should be exciting to see what they can do both next Saturday and further into their preparations.
Okay, Todd, there's a New Zealand audience who are wanting to get some punting oil. Is there something in the stable that you've got for us in the coming weeks or in coming days?
Or, to be honest, if Mo'unga goes to the McKinnon, I think it's the perfect race for him. He's about 15s that's at the moment. So, that'd be one race I'd be tipping people to have a little something on in futures. But whether he goes there or not, we'll see after Saturday. But, it could be the one.
Okay, I really appreciate giving us your time, Todd. And obviously you give us a Kiwi link to a couple of key runners in that Cox Plate on Saturday. So we wish you all the best.
Thanks a lot for that.
Chance to look at Saturday racing at 2 different venues for Nick Bashara, who's got Very Elegant, obviously, a share in the horse that you basically educated and took through the first 3 starts into a Cox Plate. And one in Matamata we'll talk about shortly, Nick, but how are the nerves ahead of this Cox Plate?
All right at the moment, Aidan, but I reckon tomorrow, I mean, I've got a lot of work to do in the morning at the stables, but I'll get back here about lunchtime, and I reckon the nerves will kick in big time. So, yeah, and look, it's a real shame we, A, couldn't be there, or B, I couldn't have, like, I mean, you know, you have a horse in the Cox Plate, you invite all your mates over and you have a party, and so, yeah, so it'll probably be me and my partner and my mother and my staff in the bubble. So that is, I mean, you know, it's great at the time, and you're very appreciative of having a horse in a Cox Plate. But, you know, and I went to, I had the privilege to go into Richard Yules and Colin Gillings when the Phantom Chance won. And it was just a wild party. I don't think anyone got to bed till after 5 a.m, you know, so that's not going to happen this year. So, but hey, you know, you're just appreciative of having a horse in a race like that and going so good, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. You've been here so many times before. She's won 9 Group 1s.
Yeah.
What about this one? How are you assessing her chances?
Oh, yeah. I think she can run 1, 2, 3. I don't think she's out of the top 3, to be honest. Zaki could be anything, as we all know. The 3-year-old is a super horse. The sectionals were great, but the big win for us is if the rain arrives in Melbourne. You know, they just won't beat her if the rain arrives. So
you go into it with obviously a fair degree of confidence by the sound of things, Nick.
Yeah, well, I'm guided by Chris and the team over there, you know, and they said she was a little bit flat. Maybe it was the float trip down from Sydney to Melbourne that just flattened her. They've added a tongue tie, and she went to the beach for 2 or 3 days and, you know, perked up, and she's back on her feed bin. So, you know, how can you doubt God? Chris Waller is God. So, you know, if he says she's right, you know. Yeah.
And safely through this weekend, do you press on and have another crack at that Melbourne Cup?
I'd love to, mate. I'd love to. We've got to sit down as a syndicate and work it out from there. You know, so we'll just play it by ear. Everybody flogged my Very Elegant hat from the Melbourne Cup last year. So the next best thing I got was a Winx hat. So that's not a bad second backup, is it?
Well, exactly. So you have to get back there and get another cap then. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it'd be terrific, mate. Yeah. Let's hope it's got WS Cox Plate written on it. Yeah.
Let's also talk Matamata, Nick, because you've got a promising filly, Bella Tavachi, 2-year-old filly by the right sire. On debut without any public appearances, except I think you might have to jump out at Pukekohe, is that right?
Yep, yeah. She went to the jump outs at Pookie, and Hamish McNeil rode it for me. So he weighs 70 kilos, and she jumped good. Travelled into it nice. Probably didn't appreciate the very heavy track. But look, I've got a lot of time for this horse, as well as the Rubik that went around the Eloise and got well beaten. But we're just forced into these situations at the moment where they've just got to have educational runs. Both are Karaka Million nominated.
Yep. And
we both want to aim for that and go from there. But the Rubik probably is looking like a late maturing 2-year-old and an early 3-year-old. But you know, there's $1 million up for grab. You've got to have it cracked. So, yeah, he's just down here at the Spelling Farm where I live. I'm very appreciative of John and Victoria Carter. We live on a villa down here, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So we go down every night, check the horses and potter around and on everything. And he's a fantastic animal. He is a fantastic horse. So yeah, I've got a lot of time, and I've got a lot of lovely horses around me at the moment, mate. I've got a Mongolian Khan from Windsor Park and a Turn Me Loose, and Windsor Park has stayed in the Mongolian Khan. So she's a lovely filly from the Soliloquy family. So nice. I'd preferably love to semi-retire, but I've got too many nice horses around me at the moment.
Exactly. Just give us a prediction on the filly. How does she go at Matamata, do you think?
Look, if she jumps, she'll be right in it. You know, she's drawn barrier 1. The instructions, or I shouldn't give you the instructions here. You won't hear them. But you don't miss a barrier 1. You just got to jump and be there, don't you? You know, you miss it. So, and I got to have a big shout out to Mark from Grange William. He's done a great job for me. I've sold 2 bold ones off overseas, and I got a lot of time for the bold ones. And Mark and the whole family down there, they do a terrific job. So we're having a really good association with them, and you know, let's hope it can continue. You know,
absolutely. Just on that, where did Bold Bourbon? Where did that horse end up?
Where's my partner? Yeah, I got that. mate, I've got 30 horses. He's ended up with a bloke that come from Perth and he's now in Warrnambool. Hang on. Yeah,
it's all good, Nick. It's okay. I'll
He'll
put
be
you on
able
the
to provide more information than I will about it, mate. I've only got 10% left in them, but so once they go out the door, I'm concentrating on what I got left at home and what I can do. And I got 5 brood mares and I got shares in about 20 bloody horses, mate. So it's pretty hectic.
Well, the main thing is that the stocks are ready for celebrations on Saturday night. Hopefully, the liquor cabinet's full.
Yeah, I just did a liquor run after walking the dogs, so they're all full. But it'll only be about 5 of us in the bin, unfortunately, instead of 50. But that's life at the moment, eh? You know. So,
exactly. Well, fingers
you
crossed.
Can send me up a good barber, mate. It'd be terrific. I look like bloody Robinson Crusoe.
I think we're all the same. All the best for the weekend. Great to talk, Nick.
All right, mate. Take care, Aidan. Thank you very much.
And talking Cox Plate, a chance for us to look back on one of the great Cox Plates of all time, the clash between Bone Crusher and Waverley Star.
This is it, they're racing. Imprimatur away very quickly over near the rails with Society Bay. Drought has begun well also. Now let's have a look where Bone Crusher is back behind them at the rear as they settle down trying to get near the fence, and our Waverley Star's caught deep.
When it came to the Cox Plate, we were very focused on our Waverley Star, as he was called over there. He was obviously a very good horse. I always felt that at a mile we'd struggle to beat him at any time. Had a brilliant turn of pace. Bone Crusher wasn't devoid of pace, but Waverley Star had a bit on him there. So we needed to outstay him, or tried to plan how we could do that, and consequently in the race, our pre-race predictions of how it would pan out in the first 400 or 500 metres was completely wrong, as often happens in racing. So from there on, it was up to Gary, and Gary elected then, of course, to go forward early and take it to the horse, and it turned out to be the reason the horse won the race, I believe.
Our Waverley Star will want to be far up. Here's Bone Crusher. He's pulled him to the outside, shooting around them, and our Waverley Star's going with it.
When Gary set out to take the race to him at the 800, I thought, crikey, you're going to be 4 wide, and Lance's didn't need to be a road scholar to work out the Lancers and just let him go past him.
They were followed then by Drawn Under the Whip at the head of the others, Dinky Flyer. But our Waverley Star, he got a half length of Bone Crusher. He's gone for the whip on Bone Crusher. 3 lengths to Drought.
In the back of my mind, I think I was thinking that sprint from the 800 is still a long way to sprint from home. So maybe Waverley Star will come to the end of his run.
But the 2 great New Zealanders have come away on the turn. Our Waverley Star, a half-length Bone Crusher. The Big Red won't give in. Drought running on. Bone Crusher responds to the whip. The roars of the crowd. He races up to our Waverley Star. 100 out. Bone Crusher, our Waverley Star. Stride for stride. Nothing in it. Our Waverley Star, the rails. Bone Crusher, the outside. And Bone Crusher races into equine immortality. $1.5 million as he photo finishes our Waverley Star.
Lance O'Sullivan thought, and I agree with him, that he had us a couple of times in the race, especially on the corner. And as Lance has said, he just wouldn't give in. Bone Crusher just wouldn't give in, and that pretty much epitomises the horse. When we got downstairs after that, the crowd were still yelling and clapping, and you know they sort of really got it. What it was about, a wonderful competition. They appreciated the courage of those horses, and I thought that was marvellous. And as I went down, I ran into Dave O'Sullivan. We shook hands. At some stage or there later on, we sort of had a bit of a hug, and I think we both appreciated. In a sense, it didn't matter who won or who lost. You know, both horses put everything out there, and that meant so much to us, I believe. And I've spoken to Dave about it since, and you know, it was marvellous. I love racing in Australia. One of the reasons I love racing is they're hugely competitive. They're hugely competitive, and they'll walk over broken glass to beat you. But if you beat them, they step up, shake your hand, and say, "Good on you. Let's have a beer together." I really admire that in them. So it's a magic thing. Our rivalry New Zealand and Australia, of course, is renowned. You give stick and you get stick, and you accept that. But no, they're a great sporting nation, and I think the rivalry overall is good-hearted, good-humoured, and something it should carry on that way.
Get you to Victoria, and of course big day for Victoria because there's a little bit more freedom, and one person I'm sure is going to be enjoying that is Natalie Young. Natalie, thanks for joining us. Obviously a big weekend of racing, but a bit of freedom and a bit of a chance for you to let your hair down at the moment.
Yeah, it's actually great. We've been in lockdown for a little while over here, and you guys are getting used to it now, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, thank God.
Yep. Anything planned?
Well, you can't book in anywhere. We were going to go out and have, a nice meal somewhere, but you can't get in anywhere. So I think we're becoming straight home.
Let's talk Saturday racing at Moonee Valley, and obviously it's a really important day. First of all, the race I'm keen on discussing is the Vase, where you've got Forgot You, who looks to be a real up-and-coming staying 3-year-old, and also Commander Harry there. Can you just assess those two for us?
Look, I thought Forgot You in the Guineas. He ended up finishing 6th, but his last 200 was the fastest whole race. Obviously we were caught a little bit off the track with that barrier, and we were sort of trying to tack on to the back of Animo and sort of helping us carry us into the race. But he sort of just hit that little flat spot on the corner, as he generally does in his races. He's come through it really well. He's had a really quiet week last week. Got him out to the beach a couple of times, and this week he had a really nice gallop on Tuesday, and I worked beside him on Blushing, and I thought what I'd seen, I'd sort of gallop beside him going into the races prior, where he won twice at the Valley, and he was under a nice strong hold and stretching out beautifully, and I actually managed to have a little bit of a sit on him this morning. Unfortunately, his usual track rider Vicky White sprained her ankle yesterday, But I trotted him down, and I thought, God, he's just got the most amazing action, this horse. So he's going to be going into tomorrow in top-tip shape.
Okay, and what about Commander Harry?
His run last time was, actually more come in and love his honesty. Pretty much said he completely stuffed it up. He was just caught 3 deep on that tight track and didn't really suit him. And we just thought we'll just throw. He's a 90-1 shot, I think, and we just want to sort of throw him and see if we can get him to the VRC Derby. He was brought out of the ready to runs, and he's out of a half sister. That's the dam of Johnny Get Angry that won it last year. So yeah. I think he'll definitely see the trip, and he's going to be going into tomorrow as well as we can get him. He's got a nice gait, and he probably should sit in behind the speed. But it's his first time around the Valley. But so it'll really depend on how he goes tomorrow, whether we go the paddock and put him aside, or we carry on to the week later in the Derby. But they're both going into it great.
Good, yeah. And also, just on the Derby, Glint of Hope, Celestial Fury, any chance that they can be there as well?
Glint of Hope, we will actually save for the Oaks. She's come through that second in the Group 2 last week. Awesome. She just, it was weird. If you watch the replay, the gate half opened and she stepped back a little bit. So it probably just cost her half a length when she actually jumped. But she's come through it really well, and she's a deep impact that's just going to love the further the better, but she's come through it super. And Celestial Fury is 2 stone lighter as of today. He's gone to the paddock. There's plenty more derbies to chase with him, and they'll generally run better when they're gelding as well.
Okay, while we're on the Oaks, Audrey Girl, Glint of Hope, are you 2 still in contention? Are they both in line to get a start?
Yeah, Audrey Girl, she was super the other day. She sat back and she really come over top of them. We were weighing up whether we were going to go to the 1,000 Guineas, and seeing Yearning come from last, I was almost kicking myself afterwards. She probably would have been very competitive in that. She got beaten by Rhino. So David had to cook his own meals for last week, But so there wasn't really much in it. It was just sort of really bob of the head, really. So she's going to go next Saturday in the Wakeful and then carry on to the Oaks after that. But she's really progressed great this campaign. She's a Fastnet Rock filly. She's holding her condition beautifully, and she's just, can't wait to see her up over that trip. And since we've been riding her that little bit quiet, she's just really hit the line strong, and it's just changed her mannerisms completely.
Okay, and before we leave what's coming up, I am keen on finding out about Forgot You. Is there any chance that you run the 3-year-old in a Melbourne Cup?
If he happened to run 1-2 in the Derby, I reckon we'd probably almost throw the stumps. You know, we went through the protocols on Monday. He went to Werribee and had the scintigraphy just as a precaution. You know, the slots it was just easier doing that than going on a week back up next week, if you know, going into the Derby. The Derby has always been the ultimate goal with him. It's what he's been set for from the start. So, you know, if he's hitting the line really strong tomorrow and, you know, comes through it well, we'll be on target for the next Saturday. And it's good to see that, you know, you've got a Tavistock and a Savabeel that are both equal favourites, I think, for it next week. Both brought from, you know, that good New Zealand bloodlines.
Absolutely. Another New Zealand bred is Impecunious, who goes around for you in the Crystal Mile on Saturday. You've drawn barrier 4 with Hugh Bowman aboard. There's a lot to like here.
Yeah, well, she raced at Cranbourne last start, and we had the other horse in it that ran second, Taichi Goddess, and probably just strung them out a little bit. She probably went a little bit too quick that first 1,000 and just got her a little bit off the bit. But we've had a couple of jockeys come back and say, look, she doesn't really quite see the trip. I know she's run third in a Group 1 in Sydney, you know, over 2,000 metres, but in hindsight, she says she's won twice over 1,000 metres and 1,200. So I think dropping her back to the mile, I think in the stock stakes when she ran 4th, that was a really good run. So she'll get genuine speed, obviously, with Rhino in the race. Elephant's obviously the one to beat. But other than that, I think it's a winnable race for her. And Tuesday is probably the first time that I've seen her do a proper gallop on the track this campaign. Like even Trent and I, he was on around one side of the track and I was on up my tower, and we both rang each other at the same time and said, oh my God, that's the best work she's done so far. So I think she's going to be going into tomorrow the best we've got her.
Okay, and you are keeping a close eye on David Brown, who's got his horses with you at Cranbourne. How are Elephant and Rhinoceros going?
They're looking absolutely sensational. Yeah, David's done a fantastic job since being over here, and the only bonus of that is my wine cabinet stayed full since Emily's not here. But yeah, they look great. They've looked really good on the track, and yeah, it's going to be sad to see him go, to be honest, because it's been good to hire a hubby here since, you know, Trent's not very good on the tools, so it's been good. I've got David doing all sorts of jobs, but no, I think yeah, they're definitely the two to beat. They've come through their last runs excellent.
Okay, good, yeah. And earlier in the day, just kick off with the 2-year-old, the English Banner. How many runners could you have in this?
Well, we've got 3 lined up. We actually took them to the Valley on Tuesday, that Breakfast with the Stars, and gave them a run around it. Red Rapid, she was really green. We were quite surprised because she'd been very sharp in her jump out. She'd won a couple of jump outs, and Thomas had ridden her in the jump outs, and he just said she was just a bit lost. So she has got the wide gate, so we may just weigh it up tomorrow, whether we just, you know, hold off and scratch her, or we go. And if there's a couple come out, we'll probably will run her. She's come through it good, but I was just really surprised how green she was coming around that bend at the Valley. We've got Tatenham. He's a hell-bent horse, lovely colt, really big and scopy. He got round the Valley no problem. He's probably going to be one of those colts that might be a better once he gets to 12 and 14. But he's done everything right, and we thought we might as well give him a run, you know, while it's here, and it's good prize money, and you know, get them in Tommy Heppenstall's colours. We know how much we love Tommy. And our other one, Equivocal, she scooted around the Valley. She's probably the best out of the 3. She's a long road filly that's just done everything to perfection this whole campaign, and I think she's probably the sharpest and the most professional out of the 3.
And the other 2 runners, you've got He's Exceptional in the Red Anchor Stakes as well, and Dance Little Sister in the Crockett.
Yeah, Dance Little Sister, look, she's coming out of a Barnsdale win. You know, she was very professional, and it's obviously a big step up to go to town, but she went to the Valley the other day as well, and actually Newitt rode her, and he was pretty annoyed that he wasn't getting the gig tomorrow. So she's probably, I think, one of our best for the day. She's a lovely filly, and she just does everything right, and she's very sharp. So got high hopes for her. She's got Bowman and mid-gate, so she should get a really nice run. She's probably sitting on speed, second or third, and hopefully kicking home.
Yeah, and what about He's Exceptional?
He's probably paying a little bit over, as I thought. You know, like he's done nothing wrong this campaign. You know, he beat Jigsaw and the Listed, and you know, some of those really boom colts. And he's come through the run excellent. He's got a little bit of space in between runs. And the other day at the Valley, I don't know what went wrong, but he got very green. It's almost like he was heading to the Tabaret to have a beer on the corner. His head was up in the air, and he was, I don't know what went wrong, and even Moore couldn't really explain it. But he's bounced through it right. And we may just put a different bit on him tomorrow just to help him get around that corner, and that may just help him. He's been working at it all week, so hopefully that's a little bit of change that we need. But he's flying at the moment. He's a really good each way chance at those odds.
Brilliant. Really appreciate you giving us that insight, Nat, and wish you all the best for the weekend, obviously, for those classics upcoming as well, and our best to Trent and also David Brown. Hopefully you can get some decent success at the stable this weekend.
I hope so too. Thanks a lot.
Big day of racing at Matamata, of course, for the second year in a row. The Soliloquy Stakes moves away from Ellerslie, this time to Matamata. And Brendan Pop, will get your thoughts on the race. Obviously, it's still a key lead up into that 1,000 guineas out of Riccarton. Still a really competitive race. How'd you see it?
It is, isn't it, Aidan? And I think the whole shape of those 2 3-year-old races, we'll get a bit more understanding, won't we, around the 1,000 guineas and the 2,000 guineas. By the completion of Labor Day Monday. And this race plays a key part in that, doesn't it? With so many strong chances, but so many of the good chances drawn awkwardly. Imperatriz drawn out. You've got Mustang Valley drawn out. Ziegfeld, who has good gate speed to be able to overcome a wide barrier draw. So that just puts little red flags next to their names, doesn't it? And gives other horses chances that come from maybe different form references, maybe horses that have won a midweek maiden, for instance, or horses that have raced well on track conditions that have been wet. So I find it overall a really hard race to assess with those 3 favourite runners drawn awkwardly. And maybe it gives a chance to a horse like Arish, who's got blinkers on with a good gait, just has the chance of maybe having the advantage over those key rivals. And look, it'll come down to what Imperatriz wants to do from the barrier draw. If they do want to push forward and try and overcome the gate, they maybe have that chance to come over with Ziegfeld if they want to play it that way. But I was just happy to take Arish on the form line that we saw from last time. Running second to Patanui Bay. We've seen form out of that race with Mercurial coming out and beating Wakari on the weekend just gone at Hawke's Bay. So I was in the Arish camp and happy to say maybe it's a value chance in the race throughout the day.
Okay, good, Yid. And obviously it is key towards that 1,600 metres of the 1,000 guineas. So you'd think a few connections would just want to be making sure their horse is relaxing to get that early spring mile. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's the feeling I'm getting. Yeah, certainly for these horses, 1,400 and then moving up to 1,600 metres. I mean, Mustang Valley is a horse that I really do like, and a horse that just screams 1,600 metre plus, doesn't she, with the way that she attacks the line. I know she was beaten by Ziegfeld here on off-track conditions, but you've only got to look at how she's run as a late 2-year-old, and even her run in the Gold Trail Stakes, where she was feeding and pushing them over the line to run into second position. So she's drawn out, and you'd imagine she's going to have to give lengths away to those horses in front of her. But if there's a little bit of pressure in the race and something can happen up front and she gets the right tag into the race, maybe she's the one they're all looking out for as she floods home late. But I see her running a big race, Mustang Valley. I just like the way that she shapes as a 1,600 metre horse and going on throughout the 3-year-old season.
Yeah, absolutely. What about the open mile, the open 1,400 metre race? Because this looks competitive, although maybe you found this one?
Look, I think Bari's a horse that really did win quite impressively here on a heavy surface. He's a runner that has got so much upside. He's won 4 from 9. He can go on any type of track condition. He's been beaten on a good surface, but he's won from dead, slow to heavy. And that was such a soft win last time out, but it was impressive at the same time. I mean, he just idled up to them. He put them away, and Troy Harris posed for the photo. It was a super win from a horse that we've seen slowly progressing his way through the grades last season. Interesting race because there's a lot of speed in this race. It looks to be speed from horses like Crystallize, Swiss Watch as a runner we know that loves to go forward, Acutus, and then of course Gospodin, who just keeps on winning, who's looking for 7 on the trot and has drawn in barrier number 1 and is a horse that could likely just tuck in behind that speed with all that pressure from horses like Acutus and Swiss Watch. I like Bari a lot. I've marked him as my best bet throughout the day. I think he's a horse that should just sit in that nice sweet spot just off that pressure. And if he can perform like he did first up at this venue, He might be hard to peg back 290, and he is a chance maybe if he does win this race of heading towards a race like the Copelands.
I was just going to pose that to you, thinking if he does measure up on Saturday as you expect, how competitive can he be down at Riccarton?
Well, I just feel as though he's in that right spot at the moment. He's moving his way up through the grades, and now he's ready to tackle an open handicap. And how he won that race in 74 grade suggests to me that he is a horse that can get to that good grade. So it's not beyond him. It's the right sort of race to target, isn't it? A race like the Copelands. We've seen him get through the better track conditions, no problem. So yeah, it would be a nice lofty target, a nice spring target for him if he was able to get the job done tomorrow.
Absolutely. Monday's another key lead up into those Guineas races down in South Brendan with the Group 2 James and Annie Sarton Memorial. Have you had a chance to put your eye across the form there yet?
Yeah, look, I feel as though it's a race down to three very strong chances. Mananui, of course, the obvious form reference that we get at this time of the year, winning the Hawke's Bay Guineas. Paranui Bay, who won last time to the races and was impressive with how he did it. The money was on. I mean, that was a big market move for that horse who had trolled up Super, the son of Lonhro. And then you've got Dark Destroyer, who comes from that midweek form line, but he was super impressive how he got through those off-track conditions. If there was a little bit more rain to fall, I think that would play into his hands too. I think he's a runner that doesn't mind that little sting out of the track conditions. So the other three I've got it down to. And then, of course, if we do see performances from, say, a Paranui Bay or a Mercurial as well, who's in the race, they are not nominated for the 2,000 Guineas. I'll be likely to see a late nomination posed for them as a 2,000 Guineas chance, which then will change the shape of that race once again if we see one of those two horses or both of them heading that way.
Yeah, absolutely. A weekend we're going to really love, though, obviously with, the good racing, especially for the 3-year-olds. We're going to learn a lot more about a Cup week at Riccarton too, aren't we, BP?
Look, we really are. I think this is a weekend that will shape so much around these markets. We've seen horses move already. Like Dark Destroyer, it continues to move in the 2,000 Guineas market. If he gets the job done, does he get close to favouritism? What happens down south with Riccarton? A Field of Gold continues on his path. He's a rock solid favourite. So, yep, so many questions around this weekend, and by the end of Labor Day Monday, we should have a brighter picture, hopefully.
Really important day ahead of the Cup Week Carnival at Riccarton on Saturday. And, of course, it is Group 3 Water Cree Stakes out of Riccarton. And Matthew Cross will be commentating, but also taking us through the form as well. Matt, really important race, this Water Cree. It's brought together a pretty handy field. Most of them from the Guineas trials last time out. How did you assess it?
Good stake as well, Aidan. Hi to you. $90,000 on offer. So I guess it's not the main target, but I'm sure that there'll be plenty of connections who will be looking to have their horses well screwed down for the big stake. And it's obviously a race that's been won by some very good horses over the years. And it's intriguing with the step up in distance, I feel, up to the 1,600 metres.
Yeah.
It's certainly going to suit a horse like Novia, who really powered home in the Inglewood Stud Guineas trial last time, that being over 1,400 metres. I think from his barrier draw, he maps to get a fairly tidy trip. He draws outside of Field of Gold, who I think will press forward in the early part. So Novia might actually not be as far off the pace as what he did last time. And he should be starting to click on now. He's only had the 5 starts, and I think his excellence has taken him as far as what he's got. 1,600 metres, if he finds himself in a good rhythm and maybe a spot or two closer than what he did over the 1,400 last time, I think he can turn the tables on Field of Gold. Field of Gold's pretty short in the market. His turn of foot was excellent over the 1,400 metre trip last time. A little bit green. He took a little bit just to balance him up on the outside of the horse who was on the rail. But once he did straighten up, his turn of foot was excellent, and he looks like a horse who's going to cop 1,600. But yeah, I think there might be a little bit of value to be found around the price of Novia. And the horse that I want to keep a close eye on is actually the Southerner, Palmetto. His work through the line and after the line over 1,400 last time was excellent. And I think he's got a bit of brilliance about him, the son of Gibberline. So Palmetto is certainly the horse to watch, but I'd be happy to play around Field of Gold and Novia. Of the others, there's not really too much that stands out as a winning chance, I don't think.
Okay. I actually gave Ferminar a winning chance. I thought the run of the Canterbury Bell was first class, and I thought maybe some sort of chance there. And I talked to the the Pitmans yesterday. They gave me a decent old push for Mackenzie Ladd too. So, yeah, but obviously we'll go with your thoughts on it. The Copeland's Mile Trial is an interesting race, isn't it? Obviously, we're not getting the favourite for the race, Miss Tycoon Rose in there, but still a really competitive affair.
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of people are sort of at the point now where they're cautious about where they're going to be in terms of the weights in the Copelands. You've got horses in here who probably need to win the race to get a start. Your likes of Secret Amore, Rock Sensation. I think Carolino's even on the brink at the moment. It looks like quite a deep field in terms of the noms for the Copelands. This year's mile trial, you've got Hasbro up the top of the book, who's been excellent, but he's got the big weight to carry. I've been impressed with Whale Song's runs. Last time I'm willing to forgive him over the 1400. I think the horse I'd be willing to back, though, is Marcus Aurelius. He looks a nice chance off barrier number 2, Aidan. Bit of pudding for him to carry. 1600s is pet distance, never out of the top 3 over the trip. So he'd be my play in the race. The best value, the horse I think to watch out for, much better than his form line suggests, is number 14, Rock Sensation. I think he's about $18. He probably needs to win the race to warrant him getting a start and a bit of respect in one of those big races during Cup Week. But gets in on 54 kilos. Whitish gate shouldn't matter. He's a horse that will likely drift back. If there's a good speed up front, then he could be your best value in the race. But Marcus Aurelius with the placing last time and behind Miss Tycoon Rose, he's been well found in the market. He's the top pick in the race, Aidan. Best roughie, probably Rock Sensation.
Really good meeting again, Matt. Have you found a best for us somewhere else on the card?
I've got a couple for you that I think will be sort of good, close enough to winning. Race number 4, number 3, Anduin is first up in the south, the son of Swiss Ace. I've been really impressed with what this horse has done at the trials. He's a go-forward horse, 1200 will suit, barrier 4, small field. There is a bit of pace wide out, but I think he's got enough toe to hold up, lead and win race number 4. And $2.40 is a great price for a horse that first up out of the Terry Ray base. Lisa Allpresson ticks a lot of boxes. Race number 5 is a competitive go. The rating 74, 1200. I thought number 5, OK Powell, actually mapped okay in this race. I thought First Rock would go forward as well as Chella. There'd be a bit of pressure from Rockland and Street Fighting Man. So from his wide gate, OK Powell, I've actually mapped him to slot down and behind the first 4 and actually get a fairly comfortable run. Last time it was traffic worries everywhere. He never relaxed. But to be fair to the horse, he actually found the line okay for a horse who got himself into trouble early. I think second up, wide gate suits, pressure to his inside. If he can slot down 5th or 6th, he'll be powering home. And I thought his price was pretty nice. And the best value of the day, we're going to go to race number 7, Aidan. To give you one more, make it a little bit more confusing. Number 9's Luminous, stepping up to 1,800 metres. Barrier number 2, a length and a half kilogram, 1.5 kilograms better off than Let's Bring It On. Meets Rivaldo, 2.5 kilograms better. Draws better than what she did last time. I expect her to be midfield on the rail somewhere. If the gaps open up, 1,800 I think will suit. And $6 I thought was overs for Luminous. Race 7, number 9.
Great stuff. Plenty for us to get stuck into form-wise. We get in there and have a look. And I agree with Matt. You want to go and have a look at those couple of trials at the end. And that last one was super. And I think Some Monsoon was back and behind them, has come out on one since as well. So the form from that trial looks outstanding. Really looking forward to the coverage. 11 races. So make sure you've got the hydration and the vocal cords, Matt.
Certainly will, Aidan. I've got the day off today, so that's not too bad. Don't have to do the Addington backing up into Riccarton, but it's a beautiful fine day here I'm just north of Riccarton, but it's a stunning day. Just looking out, there's not a spot of cloud in the sky. It'd be the best part of probably 18 or 20 degrees, so we should be on a fairly firm track there on Saturday.
Just for us to talk South Island racing now. We'll grab Kosi Osana, who's in unbelievably good form at the moment. And Kosi, part of that is because of the excellent results you're getting down south. Obviously, a very good filly that you rode last weekend. Let's start on her. There you go. What sort of feel does she give you heading into 1,000 guineas?
Yeah, thanks, Aidan. There you go. She's very big horse, big actions, and nice filly. Yeah, she's strong for 3 years old, and she's been giving me incredible rise since I started riding her. So I'm pretty excited to ride her again
Yeah. How much more is there in the tank for the 1,000 guineas, do you think?
I think she's still got plenty left. Yeah, she sometimes she gets a little bit keen, but she gets patiently. I think that's very important things for the fillies. Yeah, I think she's ticking every boxes. So yeah, she's my favorite horse. So
one who might be getting close is Field of Gold, who goes around in the Group 3 Watercree Stakes at Riccarton, and obviously that last out win in the Guineas Trials was first class. What did he show you that day?
yes, I was lucky enough to get on him on race day. 3 starts, 2 wins. I thought it was really nice effort from him last start. He should be better on that distance as well. Yeah, I'm pretty confident to ride tomorrow. Going into the races, he's also a big action horse. He's related to Derby winner Sherwood Forest as well, so pretty lucky to ride him on race day.
How do you see this race panning out?
It's quite small field, and I think inside 2 horses wants to be a little bit handy. I want to sit somewhere handy, not too far back, and I think that's where he's got high cruising speed and where he's comfortable with. And just at the straight, when I put the pressure on him, he always duck in. So I just gotta watch out switching my whip around, and yeah, if I keep him straight, he should be hard to beat, I think.
Oh, that's a good insight to us anyhow. The other race we're just really keen on getting your thoughts on the Spring Classic. You team up with Azerthorpe down the bottom of the weights, but one who looks to be just building, and obviously another one who's pretty well related, being a Half d'Avantage.
Last start, the pace was too strong for her, and she probably needs further distance. Yeah, I think tomorrow lightweight chance. I'm trying to sit quietly this time, and hopefully she sprinted well at the straight.
Absolutely, yeah. The 2-year-old race, we see you team up again with Stimulant, who couldn't have been any more impressive the other day. Just tell us about what sort of feel he gave you, because it looked as though he took a little bit of time to be really hitting top gear.
Yes, he jumped good the other day, and his legs were swinging around everywhere, and he wasn't actually concentrating probably, but once I give him a whip on the shoulder, he balanced him up and he just picked them up so easily. He's got a really nice turn of foot. I believe he can repeat the same things tomorrow. I think he's good related to Red Zell as well, so yeah, I'm pretty excited to ride him again.
Absolutely. How much would he have learnt from the other day, do you think?
I think it's going to be a similar pattern racing from the chute at Riccarton. I don't think greenness would. He will be very green in the race. Yeah, we just got to do the same things what we've done first up. So yeah, I think it's pretty simple.
He looks simple. He looks very, very talented. Earlier in the day, team up with a couple for Jamie Richards. You got Irish Red, who's was placed in a Canterbury Bell Stakes a couple of starts back, was pretty good last time out, and Shepherd's Delight, who placed last time out as well. A couple of really good rides for Te Akau as well.
Yes, they are nice rides. Still madness. Irish Reds, I think she should be too good for them around, but she's been racing and having a bit of long preparation, I think. Hopefully she gets winner before she goes out to the paddocks. Shepherd's Delight, she's widest barrier tomorrow. It's going to be a tricky, but I just got to see how she jump out the gates, and hopefully I can roll a little bit forward with the cover. Yeah, she looks like she tries hard every start, so I think she'll be a chance.
Okay, and I think you're pretty full through the day, and certainly a fair few for the boss, Andrew Carston, as well. What's the pick of Andrew's runners, do you think?
I think it's case study.
Yeah.
He's placed in Riccarton before, and yeah, I think he started improving. Took time to start improving, but slowly getting there. He's a nice looking horse. I quite like him.
Okay, good. Yeah. Who's the pick of your rides at Riccarton, do you think, Cozzy?
My pick will be Irish Red, race 1.
Okay, nice. I'd have gone for the 2-year-old for you, but liking that you're going nice and early as well. Also, you head to Trentham Sunday. Front man in the Group 3, Thompson Handicap. Can you give us your thoughts on him?
Yes, last start, I think the track was a little bit too paggy for him.
Yeah.
He liked the Te Rapa sandy track. On Sunday, it's going to be a Wellington grass track. Hopefully, it's not too heavy, but they haven't had races for a long time, so shouldn't be too bad. I'm thinking. He's a nice horse to ride. Always jump good and put himself forward. Hopefully, he'll be too good for them.
Be nice to see. And another one, we're just keen to get your thoughts on Run to Perfection in the open sprint. The last start run at Te Rapa seemed to be pretty encouraging.
Yes, it was very impressive run, I thought, at Te Rapa, especially in those open classes horses against with. I will be at the back in a small field and riding patiently. Yes, I think he'll be, if he goes good again, I think he'll be hard to beat there.
Okay, I really appreciate you giving us your thoughts on rides through the weekend. You've been busy, you're doing lots of travelling, but you're riding really well, and we really appreciate you giving us your time, Cozzy. Go well for the weekend.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, Ada.
Welcome back to The Form. Great to have your company on this big Cox Plate edition. Let's now recap on some of today's best bets. Best of luck if you're following any of those tips in, and obviously we thank all our guests who have appeared on The Form today. Don't forget about watching the live action on Trackside. We kick off with the first out of Riccarton at 12:45 midday. Make sure you join us then, and best of luck for your punting on Cox Plate weekend.